Hello, I'm Karen Rawls, Social Investment Manager at Chevron. Welcome to the Chevron FAB STEM Fellowship podcast. Chevron is proud to support the Chevron FAB STEM Fellowship. This one-year discovery program is designed for outstanding educators to learn, create, promote innovative and inclusive programs that teach STEM using digital fabrication. Participants in the fellowship program receive a $10,000 stipend to travel to a Chevron Fab Lab and another worldwide lab of their choice. This initiative is part of Chevron's partnership with the Fab Foundation, which aims to foster innovation, inclusivity in STEM education, and community empowerment. Over the years, Chevron and the Fab Foundation have collaborated on numerous initiatives to bring cutting-edge STEM education to underserved communities. We provide resources, training, and support educators, students, and communities at large. So join me in celebrating the achievements of the past Chevron FAB STEM Fellows who have demonstrated excellence in education and innovations. These fellows have made significant contributions to their communities and inspired the next generation of innovators. To learn more about the Chevron FAB Fellowships, please visit the fabfoundation.org website.
Okay, good morning. We are in Doha today and to do the podcast for the Chevron FAB STEM Fellowship, and I'm Ilaria La Manna, the Senior Education Specialist of Studio 5, and today we have one guest and one member of the team. So I present first the guest that is Ilyes Tlili. But it's our guest from Tunisia, and also we have Zeda Boussini, our senior edutech engineer working with Studio 5 from 2020. So welcome to both of you. And I think Ilyes can introduce yourself.
Of course, yeah. So hello, I'm Ilyes Tlili from Fab Lab, Tunisia. I am one of the Chevron Fab Lab STEM Fellows for 2024. I work in data science and computer vision, and our Fab Lab focuses on improving the workforce and sharing the principles of STEM education with all.
Okay, welcome, Ilyes. First time in Qatar?
Yes, this is my first time in Qatar. Yeah.
And how you feel about it?
I'm having a lot of fun.
And adventure, you said.
Yes,
right?
yes, I'm having a lot of adventures. Yes, it's a very new environment for me, especially the weather.
Yeah,
But it's
yes.
a very good place.
Enjoying the heat.
Yes.
I'm enjoying the heat.
And you Zed, please.
Zeda Boussini, electronics engineer as a major, working for Studio 5 as a senior edutech engineer since 2020. I've been in this, let's say, half a decade or a little bit more because I worked more in Jordan, in Fab Lab. I had this chance also to do it there. My passion, let's say, my passion indication is to see the impact, our impact on these children, especially when it comes to mechanics and gathering things all together, and then the habit works. And we can implement this on other sites also, especially in coding, because they need to put all the codes together, and then they have an outcome and something out from it. So this gives me the passion in this field.
Amazing. And you are also this year Fab Academy graduated,
Yeah.
right? So yes, it's a good achievement also. I want just to add that Studio 5 is a Fab Lab that is established in 2019 thanks to MCIT, that it's the Ministry of Communication Information Technologies that has a project for 2030 to transform Qatar in an active country, and of course start to invest this project also in youth that are learning with us different technologies. So for example, nowadays, we will discuss today your experience, Ilyes and Zed, in our summer camp, this collaboration with we are in a museum, National Museum of Qatar, where we try to propose a summer camp that can see different skills that are related to digital fabrication and everything related to maker and education. So, for example, it was in your case to design a lesson plan that is 3 days related to art and coding. So, how we could see how we could shape in a museum a lesson plan that probably can be useful also for other country to be used in other museum, how to introduce a coding, electronic, and also an art expression at the end of it for students of 7 to 10, so very young students. And yes, I wanted to know how was your experience creating the lesson plan and how is the workshop going and your feedback. I will ask first to Ilyes, then also to Zed, can both reply to this question.
All right. So mainly at first when I tried to start the lesson and see what and discover what I can do and just see what I can do, I found a lot of ways. Honestly, I didn't think that there are that many ways, but I found a lot of ways to integrate electronics and coding into art. And most of them are very applicable to small age groups, for example, for children. It's very simple to implement, including movement, including colors, including different art forms, interactive arts or static arts. There are a lot of ways to integrate code and electronic engineering mainly to do art pieces and modern art pieces that would be pleasant for the children and for the grown-ups also.
Which software you are using now in this lesson plan?
We chose to use for this lesson plan PictoBlocks.
And do you know already before PictoBlocks?
I worked with it, PictoBlocks. I worked with it with children. They had fun with it. I mainly work with it to use computer vision mainly. It's one of its main functionalities. It has some blocks specifically to implement computer vision and artificial intelligence, but also it has all the basic blocks for drawing and like Scratch and like other visual programming tools. So it's very diverse and we can use it for anything we want.
I would like also to ask to Zed, since like you are creating content from many years, and especially we were using a Scratch, but I wanted to know also with Microbits there is a block coding, right? So I wanted to know your vision between these different program and also PictoBlock, and also if you have any suggestions for educators to using these tools. And what did you face? And
Yeah, okay. So for PictoBlocks, this is the first time for me using it. It was at the first looks so easy for me because it looks like Scratch. But what makes the difference between Scratch and PictoBlocks, which is the libraries and the extension that PictoBlocks has, and also the ability to link many kind of ports with the platform itself, which make it a little bit stronger from my side than Scratch. But however, I faced some problems with PictoBlocks, especially some bugs related to codes. I think this is fine because such a huge libraries
yes,
would create such bugs, which is normal. Rather than Scratch, which uses most of the basics libraries that any platform would have. My suggestion would be for any educators to start from the basic. Usually start from the basic, understand the basic, so you can build up upon it in a ease of use, better than starting from the middle, especially PictoBlocks. It gives you the basic level, but however, the layout and seeing these kind of a huge libraries there would give a bit of shock at the beginning, especially if you don't know what does that mean. So starting from scratch would give you an advantage here because you know what you are doing, what you are gonna face, and then moving to PictoBlocks would make it easier for you to understand what you are facing and how also to use it. Because PictoBlocks can moves you from a very easy blocks, which is the very simplest, then it can go to Python and so on, which is a little bit let's say harder to be for basic users.
Can we just talk about the interaction? Like now, if you just briefly will just tell us about what the students learn in these 3 days and which was the interaction. I know that the program is focused on coding, electronic using microbit, and then art expression, and then at the end they will use also a voice as an input to control something in the screen, right? So how is the interaction using this 3 or 4 technology has an outcome? What also you analyze with the interaction of the youth of 7 to 10?
The good thing about youth from 7 to 10, they are very, very, very curious. They want to touch things, they want to experiment, they want to use what's in front of them. So when you give them a new application, a new interface, and the new ways to control things and to make games or art or anything else, they will just jump in and try to discover every cranny in that for example, application or environment. So for me, to introduce something like this to them is very easy because they will automatically be curious and they will automatically start looking how to make some specific things and some general things, of course. And I always use that as a starting point, the curiosity point, of course, as a starting point to help them get used to the interfaces and know exactly how to use it, because it's one thing to be curious about something and to use it randomly, and another thing to know exactly how to use it and how to make things with it. So passing from the first step, which is curiosity, to the last step, which is knowledge and how to know how. It's a very simple way, but a very fragile way to pass from one to the other.
Perfect. Thank you, Ilyes. And Zed, I will ask you a question related to equity inclusion. Usually, I mean, there are a lot of educators listening to us, and in some of the schools, sometimes, like we were discussing before, like that coding, some of the kids already know how to code and some not. And some also like to have a methodology that can include all country and all school. What can be a proposal? This is like, of course, everybody, like it will be nice that all school adopt to use block coding as in them curriculum as something that it can develop them not just imagination but technology learning. And also, okay, in this case, we are using a board that it's a physical board. But for example, like in PictoBlocks and also in other software, to have it the same inclusion for other countries that probably they cannot access to physical board, can we use it as in virtual like virtual simulator online? So they know the outcome and they can program a board just online and then can test it online. So
yeah, this is applicable for sure.
Yes,
Especially for microbit, they have a different platform like MakeCode from Microsoft, which gives them the ability to code it and see also the result at the same time as a real-time simulator.
yes.
Okay. And also, what makes block coding stronger here in my vision, which is it gives everyone the same equity to understand what is meant by blocks and also coding. So because it looks like pictures, so everyone can understand what does that mean. They don't have to understand what is English sometimes, because I have some students, they don't speak English at all.
Yes.
They just
And
speak out and they still can code.
Yeah,
This is a very strong side from for block coding,
yes.
Which is everyone can understand from the picture from what does that mean. So they can code. The rest can be on how we can construct all of this all together in a way from the instructor for the entire students to make this meaningful for them. So we can include all of them together, like linking the culture here with the blocks and also with the entire curriculum together.
So we can conclude to say that coding can be an inclusion, first for the language, first for the accessibility. Every school in every country that has a computer can be connected, and actually sometimes also with Studiofy what we do, it's an online training both for educators that kids that are in the other country. And then also we can simulate, for example, connect to coding with any board. So also if we don't have a physical board, we can connect the block coding with a board and we can simulate the outcomes. And I think this is like, we have a lot of skills to teach and also to simulate and to deliver. So it can be a good program just to be inclusive and with everyone.
And we already tested all of this in workshops online.
Yes. And something you mentioned, it was the culture, that it's also very important. So sometimes also when we express, in this case, the culture was related to art, but I know that probably we can address with coding any expression of any cultures. So once I remember was related to animals. So the national animals, they are very different in each country, but this is like an easy expression, an easy code that everybody in his country can have animals that, no?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So according the engagement, how did you see Ilyes 7 to 10 engage in these 3 days of summer camp, and also what was like something that you noticed that was very interesting for them, and also something that you will improve from this lesson plan that you create together to Zaid?
Yeah. So mainly the engagement was great from the start. Sometimes I get some difficulties starting the engagement with small students.
Yes, but how many kids do you had? That's
About 24 exactly. 24.
so it's a big
Yes,
classroom.
it's a big,
Yes.
relatively big, yeah. So getting them to all to listen or getting them all to focus, for example, is sometimes can be quite quite of a workout. But mainly when you get it right, they will also directly give their focus to you.
You know why also? Because usually it was not a classroom, are single makers that are coming, so they don't know each other. When in a classroom, more or less, there is a teacher and knows everybody and everybody's listening. Now we have experience when there are class coming. But when they don't know each other, they have to show off with the necks or the front. So they start to show like the best of themselves. Everybody wants to speak, everybody wants to appear. So that also is the magic, I believe. And I believe also successful stories when it's very interactive. So I was being there with you and I saw everybody want to interact and they were doing questions. So this means that they were following you, right?
Exactly, yes. Also, mainly about the engagement, they mainly had the STEM, for example, the STEM methodology
Yes.
gives them a way, a very clear way to, and the opportunity to get this energy and get this energy out, to participate in interactive activities, to answer questions, pose questions to each other and to the instructors, of course. So STEM learning is one way to, and one solution for these small things and small details that makes them very active, but at the same time have a good focus on what's important.
Amazing. Zed, do you have something to add about
Yeah, I would add
the engagement?
Yeah, for the engagement. As you know, this age group, 7 to 10, they are so curious.
Yes.
They're not very shy. They want to show what they have. So the better that we can do here is trying to linking the curriculum with their needs.
Mm-hmm.
Especially they want to play. They want to see something new, something that interesting for them. So we try to engage them through hands-on.
Do you have an advice also for the educators that are listening?
Yeah, so for example, what we had in the workshop, so we had art plus coding, so we need to draw. So one of the
Perfect.
activities that we did, me and Ilyes, we tried to show them how to draw square, very simple square. Okay, then we tried.
So
give
there
them
is
square.
math in
Yes,
this
there is math.
learning
Yeah.
outcome. There is
Yeah,
math.
we showed them just the first step, how to do it, one by one. Then we changed the question for them. So instead of drawing a square, I wanted to draw a triangle and try to build upon this and to draw a pentagon, hexagon, and so on. And you can see how they started to learn to also to do the entire code alone and to understand how to do it.
And how is the difference between an angle of a square and
Yes,
angle from
exactly.
the triangle? So
Yeah,
like
that's what yeah.
let's learning by doing. It's like, okay, I have to draw. Usually I know how to draw with my hands a square, but if I have to code the point of the square that has to move, I
Yeah,
have
it's
to
a bit
know the
different.
degree.
Yeah.
So I have to learn for sure this point of geometry that is very important, but in order to the machine to execute what I'm teaching to it, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay. And do you have any lesson learned about this workshop to share to educators, or that you wanted to share or improve? So, what you will improve, or what you will add, or probably sometimes we wanted to add more things and we have to rest because probably there were too many learning outcomes. I don't know. What do you think? Tomorrow it will be the last day,
Yes.
so you can explain what you will introduce tomorrow, and then you will tell me about the lesson learned.
Okay. So for tomorrow, what we'll be introducing is the visual effects
Okay.
and how to manipulate effects through physical input. So the physical input is going to be vocal, which is the voice, the loudness in general. All right. And then they have to create some effects on the painting itself, like changing the color, moving the backdrop itself or the sprite itself. All right. So this is what they need to do tomorrow, inshallah. But for the lesson learned, usually our classes is very diverse. So they're not just coming from one background or one culture. All right. And this is, I would say it's a bit of struggle, but we can change this to an advantage for us, which is the different in thinking in the student that have would give us a different outcome. All right. So everyone will have his own input here. All right. And a different outcome we're gonna have. So we don't need to put them inside a bubble and they have to do exactly the same as what we do. So we will need to give them the space to show their creativity and also to show their own side, their own touch.
Okay, yes,
This
that's
is so
creative.
important for me in every workshop. So we need to give them the space,
The
So-
tools, yes.
the space for them to think and to show their creativity,
Yeah, to express
to
themselves.
express themselves, yeah,
Yes.
to show their touch.
Yes. And Ilyes,
Also,
yes, sorry.
we don't need to assume that all of them have the same access to all the tools. So not most of them have computers home for sure,
Yes.
and especially we dealt with this. All right, and from our side, as we know, we usually provide all the tools for them,
Yes.
right? But sometimes not all the tools that they can access it everywhere.
Yeah, at least they know that the Fab Lab as a makerspace is a place where they
Yeah.
can develop them creativity, not just learn about technology or digital fabrication,
Yeah.
but they can also express and also understand. Probably
yeah.
they have some skills they don't know because they could never test on these skills, and they found skills of themselves that are interesting, and probably they wanted to come back because
True. So
they
we need
want to
give-
need these
yeah,
tools.
the time that they need to access the workspace itself so they can develop their skills, their own skills.
Perfect. And yes, I want to have a questions related to us, so to Studio 5 team, and how was your experience with us, and what do you think? I know we are a very nice team. Like unfortunately, because it's summertime, all of us is not here, but we are 10 in our team. And yeah, I wanted to know your experience and your feedback about this experience.
Honestly, my experience was very awesome until now. I started with a simple introduction with you. We just started directly working together, and we did some introductions. And from there on, we're like buddies. So right now, so I'm having fun. I'm learning new things even now, and working with you just inspired me. And now I really thinking about how can I implement things like you are doing there in Tunisia in our Fab Lab, and how can I, because also I found that some things that I'm doing there are not found here, of course. So I'm looking for ways to do some exchange and some back and forth and see how can we improve each other. This is a good opportunity for me to get introduced to other Fab Labs, and I'm very happy I made the choice to come here to Studio 5.
Amazing. I think the Chevron FAB STEM Fellowship, it was great also for us in order to introduce you. And I think you work very well also online with the lesson plan with Zed. And in October, we will have an event that why not? We can invite you because you had also some suggestion for us. And what did you say related to like the work we do usually? We have some program that is international, like we create some of the lesson plan also with other countries. So why not? Like Tunisia is very close to here. We can co-create programs and share it together, and of course supporting you with the lesson. We developed so many lessons during these years that it will be just a pleasure for us to see how it's implemented and also culturally transformed, because when you are teaching in another country with other kids, the outcome are completely different. So for us, it will be amazing to see it. So yes, super welcome. Yes.
More than happy to help you and to get to make lessons with you. It will be very interesting to see the result and the outcome.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I have a last question, probably for both of you. So it's related to post-pandemic. I will tell to Zed because actually in 2020 we were in the pandemic, and in Studio 5 we have this camp that was called Maker at Home. So in this time, I remember we reached a big audience of kids that they didn't know what to do, but the computer was the window to connect with others because we were all segregated in the house. And I remember we had this big community that since 4 years, the same like Manjushri, like kids that they were with us, they grow now. And for some, what was easier behind the screen to have a friends during the chat. You remember the chat was like the human connection, and they wanted to interact, and was a successful story. So my question is like, what are the challenges that we face in STEM education post-pandemic, and how we can create some innovating model to keep students engaged? So like nowadays, I know that there are some students that they suffer this pandemic and they are not able to express and go in a place and make friends or just share them taught with other kids. So how do you see this in Studio 5 or actually in our workshop? And if you have any suggestions for it, especially for the educators.
All right. So for the for the pandemic itself, it was a pandemic. It really was a pandemic because at that time we started to realize that not everyone looks the same. Some have the knowledge, some have the tools, some they don't have both, especially for students.
Yes.
So when we started to give online sessions, we started to realize that not everyone have the access.
Yes.
So how we can do? So I think you remember that we can send it to them by we can
Yes.
deliver it to them.
We
can
want to
give them-
send the
yeah.
kits. Yes.
But this is not possible all the time.
Yes.
All right. So I think this has helped us after the pandemic itself, where we created, let's say, a hybrid way of reaching to everyone, where we have on-site and also online sessions at the same time, a way for everyone to join. So even if you don't have access, you can come to us and have the session. If you have access, we'll make your life easier and we'll give it to you online. And if you have the tools, that's fine also. What else? Yeah, I also remember the interactive tools that we were having, the AR, the XR, and so on. So
Yes.
we used to give this knowledge only online without giving them the opportunity to try it on site. But Alhamdulillah, when the pandemic just got over and they were having the chance to come and try, they were still having the same knowledge that we already gave to them during the pandemic,
Yes.
the online sessions, and they came with the same, let's say, encourage and motivation to try the stuff. Okay. Yeah.
You want to add something, Ilyes, about this topic
Yes,
after
exactly.
pandemic?
Yeah, the pandemic, I have a lot of memories from the pandemic at first. And I personally think that the pandemic was a turning point for everyone and for our community as a whole. Even us in Tunisia, it was a very important part that put Fab Lab in the focus point of multiple people and multiple organizations, because at that time Fab Lab utility was very shined a lot, and using 3D printing and using a lot of tools. They started, of course, with the help of the community, they started creating masks and creating tools to help people. And of course, they started to implement online learning and online activities, which helped a lot of people to continue their task, not task, what is the word, when they're looking for knowledge. The quest of looking
Yes.
for knowledge and learning new things. So, and also at the same time, Tunisia, we had something you might not have it here, because there are an association called Yanader Al Mahdiya. It has a project that called Sociordi. It takes the used computers from enterprises and projects, and reconditions them and give them for free for people that do not have computers,
Okay.
just so they can access these courses. After the pandemic, they use these computers really to access the online courses that we did with the clubs, robotics clubs, and all, and to had a good result. Of course, we found also a lot of missing points that we need to work on, including the tools that we need to use to keep the people engaged, because when they are online, they are not surely to be engaged. And they're not very sure to just open their camera and interact with people. So there are a lot of points to improve on in my side of view. So that's it for the part of pandemic.
Okay, thank you so much, Ilyes. I think we arrive at the conclusion of the podcast, and of course, a special thanks to Chevron for this amazing support and opportunity of a Fab STEM Fellowship, but also thanks to Sabine Alkai, our project manager, that actually apply for our Fab Lab to be one of the hosts, but also thanks to Rodney that it put in touch with Ilyes, especially to you, Ilyes. Thanks to choose us. It was a great experience, and I hope, of course, this is the first collaboration that we will have. So I don't know if the guest and Zaid want to say something for the conclusion. Yes, Ilyes?
Thank you very much. So I just want to say that I'm very excited to be a part of Chevron STEM Fellowship. Thank you for Rodney. Thank you for the Fab Lab Foundation. And thank you for all people involved in this. Because I really wanted to visit other Fab Labs, but means they were not there. But this was a very big opportunity for me to really interact with new Fab Labs and see how they work and how they are implementing these technologies. I want to thank Chevron for their generous support, which makes this journey possible.
Thank you, Ilyes, and Zaid, you.
Yeah, for me, I would like to thank Chevron for sending Ilyes to us.
Yes,
And
support.
yeah, I'm really excited to see more people like Ilyes and his motivation and also his passion, because I see the passion in his eyes, especially in this field. He loves what he's doing. So I would like to see more people like you, Ilyes. Thank you very much. And we're looking for more collaboration and work with you. So,
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah, it was an amazing collaboration, really, Ilyes. You were great, and we discovered a lot of things from you and you from us. So it was a win-win situation, and I hope, yeah, we can still collaborate. And thanks for the support of Chevron and FAB STEM Fellowship. And yes, thank you, everybody.
Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
everyone.
Thanks.
Thank
Good.
Thank you.
The Chevron FAB STEM Fellowship is a one-year discovery program for outstanding educators to learn about, create, and promote innovative and inclusive programs that teach STEM using digital fabrication and engage new and underrepresented student populations in STEM education and careers. The program is inspired by Chevron's social investment strategy and the global Fab Lab network, both of which foster innovation, learning, and invention. Fab Labs, with their suite of digital fabrication tools and prototyping machines, including laser cutters, 3D printers, vinyl cutters, and milling machines, are inspiring young people across the world to learn about science, technology, engineering, and math STEM. These are safe and accessible places to play, create, learn, mentor, and invent. The fellowship awards a stipend of $10,000 to each selected educator to use toward creating and disseminating new, inclusive practices in STEM education and hands-on impactful making. The fellows will visit a few Fab Labs of their choice anywhere in the world to learn, to reflect, to co-create new curriculum and disseminate new practices. Their work will be published in podcasts, online blogs, and through talks and presentations at conferences and educational events over the coming year. For more information about this podcast series and the Chevron FAB STEM Fellowship Program, please reach out to us at cvxfabstem@fabfoundation.org.